Welcome to the line change. In this video, we're going to be talking about the Abbotsford Canucks and their 5-0 series, 5-0 win on Saturday night, where they end up winning the series and have punched their ticket to the next round of the AHL Playoffs. We're going to break down we're going to do once again another mini recap of the game, and also to note, in the second round of the AHL playoffs, they will have home ice advantage in this series. So once again, they will still be at home. It's gonna actually be a while before they go out on the road. One little note for the second round of the AHL playoffs: this first round was, of course, a 3-game series. Round 2 will move to a best of 5 game series. So the Abbotsford Canucks are going to have to win 3 out of the 5 in order to advance to the next round. So before we dive into the breakdown and the recap, let me just do my sponsor read, and then we'll dive right into the recap. Are you looking for an energy drink that is jitter-free, crash-free, no sugars, no artificial colors or dyes, and no calories? Then Dubby Energy is for you. With over 15 plus unique custom-made flavors, go ahead and get a starter sampler pack, which includes 3 different flavors. Use code TheLineChange to get 10% off your next purchase. Dubby Energy, your taste buds' favorite energy drink. All right, so let's go ahead and dive right into this recap. Once again, we're going to be using an article from our friends at Canucks Army. This one, as always, by Dave Hall. So let's go right ahead and break it down. Do or die, all or nothing, loser goes home. Whatever you want to call it, it was a big night in the Fraser Valley. After dropping Game 2 on Thursday evening, the Abbotsford Canucks hosted the Tucson Roadrunners for an elimination match, Game 3. What began as an apprehensive and safe game for either side turned into a complete, full-effort victory for the Abbotsford Canucks as they punched their ticket to the next round with a 5-0 victory. With 5 different goal scorers, the Abbey Canucks got help from all angles, which included a 21-save shutout for Artur Silovs. In front of the series' largest crowd on a Saturday night, the Abbotsford Center was treated with a little bit of everything in Game 3. Let's check in to see how it all went down. The opening lineup. Significant changes were made both up front and on the back end. Christian Wolanin sat out after suffering an injury in the third period of game. It says Game 3, but I'm assuming they mean Game 2. In his place, Kirill Kudryavtsev returned to the lineup to slide in next to Victor Mancini. Nate Smith came in for Jonathan Lekramaki, who was a late scratch due to lingering effect of oral surgery, according to Canucks Insider. After getting both starts in the series, Manny Malhotra went to his tried and true, sticking with Artur Silovs between the pipes. So for your first line, you had Blais, Ratu, and Carlson. Your second line was Baines, Sasson, and Nielsen. Your third line was Di Giuseppe, Chiara, and Smith. Your fourth line was Mueller, Waters, and Klimovich. Your first D pairing was Brisebois and McWard. Your second pairing was Hirose and Wu. And then you had your third pairing, Kudryavtsev and Mancini. And then, of course, you had Artur Silovs in that. So the first few minutes were filled with skirmishes and several whistles, 5 icing calls within the first 5 minutes, slowing down the pace. Both teams played an apprehensive and safe start, which led to few chances and little substance. It took nearly 8 minutes for the Canucks to see their first shot of the night, courtesy of a floating point shot from Jet Wu. But that shot kicked the Canucks into gear, where they followed up with a tremendous shift and a spark that would carry them through the entire game. They nearly opened the scoring with Dujar Kara throwing the puck toward the net before Linus Karlsson jammed it past the line. Unfortunately, the referee lost sight of the puck and blew the whistle early to negate the goal. But it was live, and suddenly the ice felt tilted. With the plays spending the majority of the time in the Tucson end, Archer Seelov still found ways to stay sharp. But the Canucks continued their press, nearly opening the scoring again after some tremendous forecheck by Semi Blais. The Stanley Cup winning forward was a menace all period long, racking up 3 big hits and setting up several looks for the Canucks. His experience has been invaluable to this team all season, and that hasn't changed throughout this opening round. Despite them having 0 shots at the 12-minute mark, the Canucks were up to 12 with 6 to go. Finally, after buzzing for 10 minutes straight, Max Sasson showcased why he's a fan favorite. Abbotsford scores their first goal to make it 1-0. Tristan Nielsen from Archdeep Bains and Max Sasson. Collecting the puck from behind his own net, Sasson turned on the Jets to race up the ice before dropping it over to Archdeep Bains. With his head up, Bains sent the perfect cross-ice pass to Tristan Nielsen, who made no mistake in ripping it past a sprawling Jackson Stober. And with the season's largest crowd, things were rocking at the Abbotsford Center on a Saturday night. The Canucks wrapped up the period with a failed power play, but you can't ask for a better finish to an elimination game. What started as a sleepy and sluggish game ended with an electrifying buzz felt throughout the arena. The Canucks put 20 shots on Stubber in 12 minutes to take the 1-0 lead after 20 minutes. So after 20 minutes, the shots were 20-5 in favor of Abbotsford. Second period. As had been tradition in this series, the Canucks were dealt a late first period penalty. As a result, they began the middle frame on their first penalty kill, but Ty Mueller and Chase Waters didn't care. Abbotsford scores their second goal of the game to make it 2-0. Chase Waters from Ty Mueller. Abbotsford's rookie Ty Mueller provided the shorthanded forechecking, battling in the corner. Winning that battle, Mueller threw the puck to the slot where captain Chase Waters prowled. Left all alone, he made a tremendous move to slide the puck past Stauber to double their lead early in the second. Moments later, with the Roadrunners on their heels, Andrew Agostino delivered an extremely dirty and high hit to an unexpected Ty Mueller. Mueller did skate to the bench on his own, but Agostino was assessed a 5-minute major for the infraction. Surprisingly, he was not ejected from the game, though. The home team made them pay. Abbotsford would score their third goal of the game to make it 3-0. Max Sasson from Chase Waters and Archdeep Bains. Working the perimeter, the Canucks set up the perfect bumper play with Chase Waters sending a quick pass toward Max Sasson in the slot. He made no mistake, tripling their lead with ample time on the man advantage remaining. Meanwhile, Seelovs was still stopping pucks and standing tall with little action in his end. The next several minutes included a barrage of plays from the Canucks, too many to even clip. And of course, it wouldn't be an Abbotsford game without a daily dose of Victor Mancini doing something fun. But they had the Roadrunners pressed on their backs and desperate, handing them their second power play. The Roadrunners could not muster any shots during the 2 minutes. The Roadrunners were sent back to the power play later in the period, but Seelovs and the Abbotsford defense were up to the task, killing their 9th straight penalty kill. Despite a few power plays for the away team, the second period was all Abbotsford. They grabbed 13 more shots to carry a 33-14 shooting advantage and a strong 3-0 lead. At the end of the second period, shots were 33-14, as was just mentioned. Third period, with a 3-goal lead, the game plan was simple: kill the clock. They got some help from some more aggressive play from Tucson, sending the Canucks to their 5th power play of the game. Most importantly, it was 2 more minutes off the clock, and with no goals, that's exactly what they got: 2 critical minutes off. The remainder of the period was rather uneventful, which is precisely what they were looking for. The Canucks played it an extreme shutdown game to kill the clock and ride off into the sunset. And with the visiting team getting increasingly frustrated, the undisciplined penalties continued. With just over 9 minutes remaining, the Canucks grabbed another power play and another chance to kill 2 more minutes off the clock or extend their lead even further, but they elected for the goal. Abbotsford scores their 4th of the game to make it 4-0. Sami Blais from Linus Karlsson and Tristan Nielsen. Right off the faceoff, which Atu Ratu won with the knob of his stick, Linus Karlsson made a tremendously confident play. Rather than rim the puck away, he controlled and found a wide open Sami Blais. The veteran forward made no mistake, beating Stauber cleanly for their 4th goal of the game. Abbotsford took a penalty directly after this goal, where Tucson went 4 went for it all, pulling their netminder with tons of time left. The Canucks threw several attempts towards the yawning cage, but couldn't quite nail their aim down, but they finally hit one. Abbotsford goal, their 5th goal of the game to make it 5-0. Phil Di Giuseppe from Nate Smith. The Roadrunners attempted to gain entry into the zone, but a steady defensive line held strong. Grabbing the puck was Phil Di Giuseppe, who turned and finally hit one into the empty net to officially ice the game. While the game was all but wrapped up, there were still saves to be made, and Sea Loves continued to do so. When all was said and done, the Latvian netminder stopped all 21 shots he faced for his first AHL playoff shutout and 10th as an Abbotsford Canuck. The game ends with final shots in the game were 39-21 in favor of Abbotsford. With the victory, the Canucks advanced to the second round of the playoffs thanks to the San Jose Barracuda sweeping the Ontario Reign. The Abbotsford Canucks will now face the Coachella Valley Firebirds, who have enjoyed back-to-back trips to the Calder Cup finals. As the higher seed, Abbotsford decides how the home ice advantage works, and they have elected to take the final 3 games. While the dates of the first 2 games are undetermined, we know that there will be hockey on May 7th, 9th, and 11th if necessary. And then the dates for the first 2 games of the second round are still undetermined. We will ensure the Euro kept informed once the news is released. So it's looking like home game 1 will be May 7th. Home game 2 will be May 9th. And if necessary, the third home game will be May 11th. So yeah, there we go. Abbotsford Canucks win by a score of 5-0 to advance to the next round. They will now face the Coachella Firebirds, who, as was just mentioned, went to the Calder Cup finals the last couple seasons. And I'll admit, I watched a little bit of this game on Saturday night. I managed to find a stream and watched a little bit of it. It was lagging a little bit, so I had to refresh it a couple times. But I was doing a bunch of work for my other podcast, which debuted yesterday, called Inside Jays, talking about the Blue Jays. So I was doing a bunch of work for that and listening to the game at the same time. And so I didn't have my full attention on the game, but I did manage to see that end-to-end by Max Sasson that led to the first Abbotsford goal. That was absolutely beautiful to see. And it really made me wonder, why don't we see that enough on the Vancouver Canucks? I'd love to see Sasson do that when he's on the Vancouver Canucks. I get it. AHL's a bit more, slower paced, and you're likely to see those end-to-ends a lot more frequently in the AHL compared to the NHL. But still would be nice to see some of that in the NHL, especially with the Vancouver Canucks. But seeing the speed of Max Sasson in that play in particular shows you why he's a fan favorite. And I think there's likely a good chance that Max Sasson actually ends up, making the team at least maybe next year, or he at least gets called up at some point for next season. But that's going to do it for this mini recap of the Abbotsford Canucks versus Tucson Roadrunners in Game 3 of the first round of the playoffs, where Abbotsford comes out on top and ends up advancing, while the Roadrunners will be looking to next season. So that's going to do it for this video. As always, if you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you're not subscribed to the Line Change, I want to stay up to date on all your Vancouver Canucks content. And as of right now, at least during these playoffs, your Abbotsford Canucks content. Go ahead and smash that subscribe button. You can find us on social media at Twitter/X at Line Change Fan. You can find us on Instagram at The Line Change. You can find us on Facebook as well. Just search The Line Change to find our Facebook page. If you prefer an audio version of this podcast, you can find us on both Apple Podcasts and Spotify. If you do so, please rate and review. as it is greatly appreciated. And that's going to do it for this video. As always, I'll see you guys in the next video.